Sustain Baba Ramdev's Patanjali Ayurved has entered the general insurance business. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 that Patanjali Ayurved has acquired majority stake in Magma General Insurance and will be the promoter entity in the company after the transaction is completed. Yash Jain joins us now with the details. Yash, take us through Patanjali Ayurved's general insurance plan.
Well, quite unexpected, right? Who would have imagined a company that is largely into Ayurvedic applications, medicines, wellness products, would look at something like insurance. But of course, a quite interesting development happening in the insurance market. Baba Ramdev's Patanjali Ayurved, as you rightly pointed out, has decided to enter the general insurance market. What does general insurance include? Everything from your motor insurance to your health insurance to fire insurance, accident insurance. It is a brownfield entry, which means a stake has been acquired by Patanjali Ayurved in an existing company, that is Magma General Insurance, and it's not a fresh, a greenfield entry, so to say. Now, as far as the sellers of Magma General Insurance are concerned, the biggest one would be Cenote Properties. Cenote Properties is a joint venture where 90% was held by Adar Poonawalla and 10% was held by Rising Sun Holdings. There are smaller sellers also as far as Magma General Insurance is concerned, but about 74.5% will be sold by Cenote Properties, which is promoted by Adar Poonawalla. Apart from that, in terms of the list of buyers, what I've been told is that a majority stake would be acquired by Patanjali Ayurved, which means more than 50% will be held by Patanjali Ayurved, and it will be the promoter entity to Magma General Insurance. Of course, we need to understand from the company in terms of what its intentions are, the kind of business that it wants to do. But prima facie, this particular transaction will be subject to regulatory approval. As of now, that is the information which has been provided by Magma General Insurance.
All right, big news. Patanjali now entering the insurance business. Thanks, Yash, for joining us with that big breaking update. Now to all the Parliament action. Lok Sabha has passed the long-pending Oilfields Amendment Bill, which seeks to modernize oil exploration and extraction laws in the country. The bill expands the scope of exploration beyond petroleum and natural gas to hydrocarbons, coal bed methane and shale oil as well. The bill also opens up 1 million square kilometre of India's sedimentary basin for exploration, which was previously classified as a no-go area for environmental reasons. Oil Minister Hardeep Singh Puri hailed it as a positive step to reduce India's oil imports. Let me now go across to Mr. R.S. Sharma, former chairman of ONGC, who's with us on the phone, and Sanjay, partner at Deloitte India. Mr. Sharma, let me begin by asking you, first of all, the bill, the statement that the government shared, said that the intent was to provide a legal framework that is simple, stable and predictable. What does this bill actually do in terms of increasing investments in India's oil and gas sector in exploration?
Well, Parikshit, so far as I will talk about what this bill does is ease of doing business. This bill is improving on the ease of doing business. It does not do a big ticket reforms. It is not inviting new investment for exploration, but for the existing the operations, the legal framework, dispute resolution mechanism, sharing of resources, the need to have separate licenses for different kind of hydrocarbon resources. So that sort of solicitation is being done by this bill. So that is definitely a welcome step. It will improve overall the sentiment for investment in the sector will improve. That definitely is there, and that is what the press release says. That is what about the bill. But I think there's much more needed in the country to promote exploration.
Right. Now, when it comes to the issue of multiple licenses, this bill would do away with the idea of multiple licenses with a single petroleum lease. How significant is this? This had been a long pending industry ask as well. How does this simplify things for people in the oil and gas sector, in the exploration sector?
Parikshit, what is being done now, it should have been done 20 years back. The industry has been clamoring for this facilitation. For no rhyme or reason, it has not been done. But now it is being done. Better late than never. We have to welcome it.
All right, that's an important point. So stay with us. Let me also get in Mr. Sanjay from Deloitte. Mr. Sanjay, how do you see this move by the government? Do you expect this to pave the way for accelerated domestic production of hydrocarbons?
100%. This is a great development, and as Mr. Sharma also mentioned, long overdue. So, Parikshit, from us, even if you were to look at from a smaller investor's perspective, for them to share resources becomes a very this bill enables that. Okay, so that is one thing. Second, from a government perspective, if they see two lease areas, they can merge it. Also, the penalties where it was essentially a criminal offense on certain things that have been removed, and the penalties are very clear. The imposition of penalties is also very clear. So a lot of things have been clarified, including the way arbitration happens, including international arbitration. So I see that it will enable not only the larger investors to probably come in, but also the smaller investors who are there. And as the no-go areas also have come in, where the no-go areas are reduced, so it will also enable a lot of exploration that will come in. So I do see it as a positive development in the Indian upstream landscape.
Right. Now, when it comes to expedited dispute resolution, how does this bill take things forward?
Oh, if you were to look at it from an arbitration standpoint, international arbitration is permitted. Also, the mechanisms of imposing penalty, there is a clear mechanism where a secretary rank would kind of look at the imposition of penalties, and it can be challenged in terms of appellate tribunal as well. So those clarity has come in, which was not there earlier.
Right. Mr. Sharma, coming back to you, do you think this bill, as the government intends to do, to support small operators with resource and infrastructure sharing, will this actually encourage small operators to do more?
Yeah, definitely. And again, why it has not been done so far, not clear. In fact, after I superannuated for 7 years, I was chairing FICCI Hydrocarbon Committee. That was the time the number of such small reforms to be done we have been highlighting, but it is being done now. Better late than never. Again, I would say it should have been done much earlier.
Right. Sanjay, if you could take us through some of the other contours of this bill, how does this encourage greater investments both from India and from outside?
So if you see from an ease of doing business, most of the international players, they had this issue of how the issues will get resolved. Will there be penalties which will be imposed on an ad hoc basis? So this bill, this act essentially provides for clarity around international arbitration, also helps in terms of looking at how penalties are there. Plus, when you find a coal methane or you find a shale, again, this act enables the resource to be there with that particular operator. So that brings in more clarity per se. The environmental regulations are also very clearly defined. So from that perspective, if you were to look at from any upstream entity, any global entity, a clarity in terms of how things will be dealt with becomes important. And that's what this act actually does and gives that clarity and then gives the ease of business. Again, from resource sharing perspective, not only small investors, even the large investors, they would want resource sharing. And this gives a clarity around that as well. So from that perspective, from an investor standpoint, as you rightly mentioned, it is a very simple, stable and predictable environment that has come in.
All right, Sanjay Shah and also Mr. Sharma, thank you very much for joining us on the program, giving us your view on the Oilfields Amendment Bill and what this means for domestic exploration and production of hydrocarbons.